and welcome to your final Q&A. So whether you made it all the way through the course or just part way, congratulations for being here. You are really open to doing the inner work. So whether or not you were just trying, giving it your all, and for whatever reason you got hung up, or you stayed in flow and you had some amazing experiences, this is your time to celebrate. So to help you do that, I'm going to turn on a little bit of music. Dance with me. Why is dancing important? Because it returns you to flow. And some of you need that right now because you're here to have questions. And rather than get too serious, we have to lighten up. So let it go. Shake it up. And let it go. Trust the flow. And know that your guides, your angels, God source, higher self, call what you will, it's all here for you. Okay? All right, let's begin. Let's see, thank you all for submitting questions. I'm going to go through some of them now and check the message boards to see if anybody else has any additional questions. Let's see, the very first question is, found a number of different versions for the 7 rays, and I would like to know which one that you used to help us cross the veil, or was it a combination of different ones? Okay, so I have a couple different ways of answering this, and I took some time to prepare 7 rays, and I want to answer it based on what I found, so do your own research too. The energy behind the 7 rays is not something that can easily be put into words. Now, the number 7 has been significant for many years. 7 colors of the rainbow, as an example. There are 7 days of the week. There are 7 sisters of the Pleiades, 7 elite archangels, 7 ascended masters, 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit. And this is really where I wanted to kind of guide everybody, the 7 ceremonies around a sacred fire, such as in the Cherokee customs and traditions. And so the 7 rays are very powerful. And really, you just choose which one resonates best with you, and you ride the wave and see what happens. Notice and go with the flow. Okay? Because the truth is that everybody has different interpretations of the 7 different rays, and my truth really is different than your own. So there are 7 waves of energy, and that's the best way to describe it, that we can ride. So each energy will emit a unique frequency, and I encourage you just to, rather than go through the meditation 7 different times to see what comes up, that would be a little bit overkill. Just go with your intuition. Some days may be a little different. And notice what experiences you have when you follow your intuition, when you're really in flow, versus, I'm kind of having an off day. I wonder what might come up. Different doors open and different experiences occur. And in the shamanic tradition, you're going into different levels of the afterlife and connecting with different vibrational beings. And different vibrations you attract. And so angels, for one, are on a very different frequency than those who have passed over, who had an experience as a human. And so there are different emissions of energy, and each of us attract different beings, which we'll get into here in just a little bit. So connect with your soul group, connect with whatever door, whatever ray works for you. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. Again, this is my truth, and this is based on my experience of teaching how to tap into intuition, how to cross the veil with clients all around the world. Follow your truth. My truth and my experiences, and with hundreds of success stories, is that the steps are exactly as I taught you. They are self awareness, right? Which there's a whole lot of stuff that goes along with self-awareness, you guys. It's centering, it's grounding, it's the breath work, it's consistent practice. And then from there, it's the self-trust, which is huge. It brings up all of our beliefs and all of our fears. And then it's self-acceptance and truly accepting no matter what happens and trusting that you're in flow and continuing to go with flow. It's all good. This entire course, remember, was created so that you can experience your own truth. Okay, so to kind of stay on track with the question about the different steps is by now you kind of have it, go with whatever worked for you. What worked for you in terms of your steps? By the way, these steps are not a 1, 2, 3 like a staircase. These steps are more like a spiral. And the more we do it and the more consistent we go, the faster it becomes. So the spiral starts out very wide, very slow, and then it starts to narrow, 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 narrow. It's like if you've ever seen those big bubblegum spirals, those candy machines, it starts out real slow and then it gets faster and faster and faster. And that's how this experience is so long as you stay the course, so long as you continue to do your breath work, center, ground, self-trust, move with the flow. That's how it is. And every once in a while, you're going to get hung up. If you get hung up, you literally have to put your gumball back on top and start again and trust the process. Just the way it is. Okay? So if you didn't finish the course, don't beat yourself up. Just begin again. It's really that simple. The self-trust component is, again, the release, the surrendering, being open to receive. This is a continual, ongoing practice, everybody. No matter where you are in the path, as they say, shit happens, okay? And so wherever you are, you're going to hit an obstacle or a bump. Just know that sometimes when that happens, you end up having to go backwards and then boom, start again. It's kind of like if you're in a video game or that I can't remember the name of the vacuum, Roomba or something like that, the vacuum cleaner. When it hits something, it has to go back and kind of start a sweep all over. That's how it feels sometimes. So you really have to trust the process and not compare yourself to anyone else. Just know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Self-acceptance is really knowing. It's knowing that there's more to this world. It's more to your human form. It's to feel worthy, to be open enough to receive, to recognize spirit in the form of your inner truth. All of these things are really valuable. So some of you, by the way, dove into this course in the midst of grief. You had recently lost a loved one, or it was the anniversary of a loved one, or during the course, the anniversary of a loved one really kind of, took over in a way that you hadn't experienced before. Just know that that particular calibration, the emotion of grief, is very, very harsh on the system. Like depression, like loneliness, like sadness. It can really knock us over. Okay, and so some of you have gone through physical issues. You've gone through divorce. You've gone through just major changes in your life during this course. It might have set you back. So don't beat yourself up. Okay, that's part of self-acceptance, is knowing and trusting that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and recognizing that if you are in those vibrations, those calibrations, the frequency that's denser and lower and slower, that it's going to take you a little bit longer. So rather than this course feeling like a hill, it's going to feel more like a mountain. Yet keep going, keep climbing, because once you reach the summit, the view, the experience is wonderful. It really is. The experience that you have when you climb a mountain is far more wonderful than the experience that you have when you climb a hill. At least that's from my experience. Go with your truth. None of the techniques in this course are quick fix, by the way. So when you're already burned out, you're already desperate to communicate with a loved one, you're already in a state where you're hoping that I can give you your answer. It doesn't work that way. It takes consistency and it takes practice. So some of you began this course very strong, and then it came time, you listened well, you understood the left brain stuff, you got what I was doing, you started doing the exercises, you might have even began doing the breath work, But in trimester 2, as soon as you had to actually get quiet with yourself and begin to recognize and tune into your own energy field and recognize and tune into your spiritual yes and your spiritual no, that's when you gave up. And the reason you gave up is because you were uncomfortable. And I deliberately called it a rebirthing, a transformation, a metamorphosis, because when that baby begins to lift itself up, it doesn't judge itself and say, oh, this is stupid, this is dumb, or I should have done this better, or I have something better to do. Okay? You have to return yourself to infancy stage in order for you to really effectively move through this course. It's about giving yourself permission to be uncomfortable when things start to get a little bit uncomfortable. Is you give yourself permission to feel the discomfort. You give yourself permission to move through it anyway, and to set any of those judgment and fears aside, any of those old conditioned beliefs. Return yourself to infancy stage and just move through it anyway. So when you're sitting with your meditation, with your breath work, and you're recognizing this is my head, this is my heart, this is my hara, and you start thinking about dinner, what am I going to make? I really shouldn't be sitting here. Oh, the mosquitoes are really terrible. Oh, the one was biting me on the arm. Remember to return yourself to that first 9 months of life, and to remove judgment. And just to accept, this is what self-acceptance is. No judgment. It is what it is, and it helps me be honest and vulnerable and to move through the experience. And that's what trimester 3 invited you to do. So I invite you to do the same. What else I want to say on that is just again, sadness, grief, depression, they're really going to weigh you down. They're going to be more weighted than if you are in a state of happiness, if you're in a state of flow, if you're in a state of rejoice and celebration. And so you have to do things to kind of lift your vibration in order for you to continuously move through the course. So if you're feeling unsettled, if you're feeling confused, if you're tuning in because you didn't make it through the course, or you're now wondering what to do, I encourage you to go back to the basics. And I wrote a few things down. So breath work, we all know about that. We just talked about that. Centering, again, centering, we talked a great deal about that, is literally being in the center of your entire energy and auric field. Be sure that you're doing that each and every time. Each of these modules build upon the other. It's not like, okay, I did, it's a check off list. Well, I did module 1, I did module 2, I don't ever have to do it again. Wrong. You need to take everything that you learned and keep bringing it with you. It's like a snowman. It's like, you take the original snowball and you keep rolling it and you bring it along with you in order for you to ascend. The other thing is grounding. Be sure that you're grounded. Be sure that you're well hydrated. Be sure that your thoughts aren't, pulling you out of the ethers, or your emotions. Daily gratitude. If you're feeling displeasure or upset in any way, it can really truly help for you to start shifting your perception and lightening your auric field. Start focusing on the goodness of your life. Begin noticing what brings you joy, and then do more of that. Do what works for you. So today, I was guided to bring in this calcite stone. I love stones. I go to rock shops now and again, and I'm attracted to a certain stone. And so I was attracted to bring calcite today. And I am not a big... I don't know a whole lot about what all the stones mean. I just get attracted to one and I grab it. Well, it's been a long time since I picked up this calcite. And so I had to do a little bit of a search on what does calcite mean. And wonderfully, it says calcite, it amplifies the learning experience while helping keep you grounded and centered. So do whatever works for you. It's really, really key. And we're getting here close to the end here, is a two-part question. First one, we'll call it part A. I have been bumping up against obstacle after obstacle, though I honestly tried my best. So now what? And part B is, where do we go from here? Okay, so whether you're feeling stuck or, as I mentioned, you're getting hung up in whatever trimester you finished in, um, because you're feeling weighted down because life just happened, no matter what the obstacle, again, whether it's grief or a physical issue or stress or a recent move or divorce or anything like that, please know that there's always a good reason for this. There always is. Please trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, always, at every given moment. And so when your frequency is heavy, you're going to know it. You will feel weighted. You will feel like you're underwater and you're just dragging through and everything's slow. And did I hear my yes or did I not? Did I not get a no? This is your frequency, and you just have to grin and bear it and just do things that you can come up with to try to lighten it. Whatever that means, it's really, really key. Nature, guys, go out and hug a tree, go out into nature, go for a walk. There's so many things that you can do to lighten your frequency. And when you're feeling good, then go into meditation, because you'll then accelerate so much faster than if you try. And again, it becomes trying, and that then becomes work to do it when you're heavy. It just never seems to go very far. Some of you, again, you did this, you tried it, you even maybe had wonderful experiences. You were in a state of being for a while, and then you went to the next module after you practiced for a couple days, had a good experience, and then some days you didn't do anything, you went to the next module and nothing really happened, and now you're disappointed. It's a daily thing. It's daily. Again, as long as it doesn't feel like work. But if it feels uncomfortable, you still have to move through it. You think the baby felt comfortable when it was trying to pick itself up and learn to walk? It felt a little bit awkward, I'm sure, when you were a toddler, and that's just part of the experience. So you have to really go within and ask yourself where you might have gotten hung up and what it is that you can do to redo the course or to launch pad from wherever it is you left off. I know many of you had successful experiences, which we'll talk about at the end. For those of you, where do we go from here? Or, should I work with you? Do I need individual attention, one-on-one, that type of thing? I want to just let you know that if you're feeling called to continue, I might not be the teacher for you. There might be someone else, some other course, some other book, some other workshop, some other teacher who's on your path. Please go for it. Sometimes we're stuck in a certain place and someone else has gone through that experience and they can assist us way more. And so you need to take a little detour for a while. Please do that. Take care of yourself. Some of you already know that you want to continue working with me, and I have a special little offer that you're looking for, perhaps a little bit more validation or some affirmation or some insights from me. I do have a special incentive that I'm hoping will help you on your path. So this is a chance to continue your soul journey from here. And whether you feel a little stuck because, for whatever reason you couldn't finish the course, we went through a lot of different reasons, and you just need me to help witness you get unstuck, to release, to be able to move forward, to surrender wherever you're at. Or you receive some really wonderful, profound guidance and experiences on your own, and now you're ready to take it to the next level. These are really some wonderful times right now, especially where you just want to play and you want to have fun and you want to celebrate and you want to jump around. And so, just celebrate. And if you feel called to continue to work with me, you're probably really going to appreciate what I have to offer. So this is my way of saying thank you for completing the course. Personalized session, by the way, where we meet online. It's not a video format. We do it over the phone just so that you can be in your pajamas and we can just totally connect energetically and go deep in using the tools of hypnosis and other techniques that I've learned along the way. And so I want to just wrap up by sharing some testimonials. Now, These are amazing because these are some actual testimonials of those who took the course. And if you have your own story that you want to share, I encourage you to share it because I love reading them. So this was a beautiful process. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Sacred Circle members. I was open to meeting my master guide, and I found myself on a wooden bench seat on top of a grassy hill. I saw a person with longish brown hair and a white gown, and I felt a healing being given to me. And for a brief moment, I saw a light grow bright and then dim before it was gone. The light occurred in front somewhere, whilst my eyes remained closed. I'd seen the brightness through my lids, and the curtains were drawn close, and the sky had been overcast with clouds. I got that patience is there to help me go with the flow. I've often received messages about patience via different forms throughout my life. I also got to see my pets from childhood, and I then checked in using my yes and my no, and I wasn't picking up anyone else, so thank you again. I love that. The other one was crossing the veil. I met my deceased older sister. She had had a difficult life, and I felt that I hadn't always been as supportive as I could have been for her. We embraced and reconciled, and in the background was her husband, who had been a very difficult person. He seemed to be approving but didn't enter in. And then I saw examples of difficult relationships in my extended family, going back a couple of generations. Some were male and some were female. And then all of us were embraced in love and light. On leaving, my guide showed me that I am the gentle and accepting partner, and I am to be this way in all my relationships with family, with friends, and with people forward. Love that. And then I have one more to share. Wow, I saw my sister and my brother and my sister-in-law. It was like my sister was in front, my brother behind her to the right, and my sister-in-law a little further away to the left. The message I got was that they did get my flowers, and the phone call that I got recently was also them. My sister said, "That was us. We did that." And right at that moment during the meditation, my cell phone buzzed. I had taken extra care to turn off the sound on my cell phone before we started, and just as then I heard my sister say, "That was us." That's when my cell phone did a bzzz. I smiled with a little tear. I felt like it was kids playing a game. I've been to a lot of psychics, and over the years, I would say, "Oh, I'm entertained," and they would take offense and say, "But this is real." With Michelle and with this course, I now know that spirit is playful and fun, and so I now enjoy it. My sister was confirming this as a new way to be. What joy. What joy indeed. Thank you all for submitting your testimonials. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for showing up. I so appreciate you. And I really invite you to continue to do the inner work. For those of you who wish to work with me, I look forward to connecting. And until we meet again, enjoy the experience. Namaste.